All right, guys. All right. So apparently, what ended up happening was I done goofed. So this is my second take. I think one person saw the video get uploaded, but apparently, like none of the audio got synced to the first video. So we're doing this video again. It's okay though. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all because we still get to talk about the best thing in the world, Devil May Cry. I did say some cool things that I hope I can remember the things I said because I thought they were very, they were really good talking points when it came to Devil May Cry. But pretty much this video today is going to be me talking about the, I guess if you want to call it the aftermath of Devil May Cry, the special edition or whatever, and pretty much how I had just like a really good like overall just like I had a really good time playing that game. Like it was an amazing game. And all it really was just adding an additional character to the game, like similar to what they do in fighting games. But I feel like this one additional character added so much levity to the game itself, to the point where it's just like he did make it overall better for me as a fan. One of the things when it came to Devil May Cry 5 that I felt like they really try to nail hard on when it came to just the way how they structured it was supposed to be a love letter to the fans. And when I say love letter to the fans, I feel like they didn't focus too much on building the, I guess, the external aspect of Devil May Cry, which is the world, just the mythos itself, and like kind of what happens around these characters. Instead, they took a very direct approach and just specifically and solely focus on these characters, and the characters I'm talking about is obviously like Dante, Vergil, and Nero. It was to a point where it was a detriment to other characters because characters like Lady Trish obviously didn't get no time to shine, even though they're probably some of the most iconic and badass women in all of like video games, honestly. Like, but they kind of got like devolved into like damsel in distress. I guess because Nico was like the poster girl for this game. They didn't want to take away from her too much because she's supposed to be the new character, and they didn't want these older characters to kind of like overshadow her, because obviously that would have 100% been the case if they didn't get captured. Because Nico was definitely a hilarious character, and her kit set is kind of cool in the sense that she is a blacksmith, she is a creator, she's able to create different weapons, but her character would have been 100% overshadowed by Lady and Trish. But yeah, so I would definitely say when it came to Devil May Cry before the special edition came out with the Vergil DLC, this game was definitely somewhere around like a 7.5 to a 8 for me. But now, like with the Vergil DLC and how Vergil was able to implement very cool and new things to the Devil May Cry lore for the Dante Vergil story dynamic, this game is definitely now a solid 8, if not like I would push it to like a 8.5 for me personally, of course. But yeah, like let's talk about some of these takeaways from the actual game itself. And the number one takeaway that I do want to take away is the potential children that Nero had. Granted, it was mentioned before the DLC that like with the original first cutscene where Nero mentions that like he has two loudmouths upstairs and Kyrie makes an excessive amounts of food. So like obviously a lot of people 100% ran with the idea that 100% confirmation Nero has kids. Me personally, I was kind of like borderline with it. Like I was just like, yeah, I mean maybe like that could mean anything, but at the same time too, like when he said two loud mouths, like it did kind of came off. Oh, spit a little bit. It did kind of came off like a little jarring because like Kyrie, I don't know if her character had like a drastic change, but for the most part, she was more or less a quiet woman. Like she wasn't a very expressive woman or exaggerated type of female. Like she was very reserved to herself. So like when he did mention the two loudmouths, I kind of took it as just like maybe it could be he has kids, maybe not. He could just be talking about Kyrie. Maybe Kyrie changed over the years, and now she's a bit more expressive and she's a little bit more, I guess, full circle in the sense that she's more comfortable with herself and being a little bit exaggerated. But yeah. So now in the special edition, we get an extra cutscene basically saying how like when it came to Vergil not being able to see his grandkids because of his attitude and stuff like that. I thought that was really that was really hilarious. But I don't take two for twos aren't coincidences in my personal opinion when it comes to video games. When you hear something constantly within a video game, it has to have some sort of validity in it, or it wouldn't be mentioned this many times, or it wouldn't be kind of like in the air so many times when it came to dialogue. So I guess it's 100% safe to assume that yeah, he has kids. For the people that you already took the information for face value when it was first given to us in the first cutscene, and you guys already stuck to your guns and it was just like he had kids, shout out to you guys. But for me now, I feel comfortable saying that, like, yeah, with that cutscene in the special edition, it's safe to say that Nero has some kids. So that was one of the cool things that I thought, or one of the cool takeaways that I found from the Vergil special edition. Another thing that I found super. Oh man, I gotta remember everything. I gotta remember everything. Shit. So another cool thing that I definitely found. Oh, yes. Another cool thing that I found, or we noticed in the special edition of Devil May Cry 5, was that dynamic between like Vergil and Dante, and how pretty much when it comes to their characterization and their just, I guess, overall, I guess personas, like when it comes to their characterization and personas and stuff like that, like I do love how, for the most part, when it comes to Vergil as a character and when it comes to Dante as a character, like they're very well established. And when it comes to their lineage, which is like obviously Sparta, Eva, I do like how the writers, in a sense, not necessarily the characters, but the writers play this like middle, like I guess you can kind of say middle ground with the, I guess, audience or the fandom, where it's just like, do you guys really want to see Sparta and Eva? And I know a lot of you guys' answer that's out there is going to be yes, because a lot of you guys are DMC junkies, in the sense that it's just like any and all types of content when it comes to Devil May Cry, you guys would be ready to consume. But like my argument for that kind of conversation is just like, I love Vergil's in-game response to it, where he tells Dante, after Dante mentions the idea of like, yo, what do you think our parents would think about us, or our parents would think about us now? I love Vergil's response in the sense that like it really doesn't matter. And I think that was more for the audience more than like that banter between Dante and Vergil, or Vergil just trying to be cool. Because at the end of the day, like I agree with Vergil. Their parents don't matter at all. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to Devil May Cry, yes, their parent situation overall built the foundation of Devil May Cry. AKA, like, they were the ones, or their problem and situation was the one that spearheaded the journey for Dante and Vergil to go on. Their deaths or their capture led to the trauma that inevitably built these characters to what they are and what we know them as today. So, like, do we necessarily need this overcomplicated, elaborate backstory to fully understand why Vergil is the way he is, why Dante is the way he is? In my opinion, no. It's super unnecessary, and it's a waste of time narratively, right? Because at the end of the day, like, it's not that we 100% know Dante. Dante is a very well-established character. Vergil within himself is a very well-established character as well. So it's just like, we don't need this extra piece of information that's lingering in the background to add to these characters. I mean, would it be nice to know? I mean, I guess, sure. But is it necessary to know? Not at all. Like, if they just gave us, like, if they gave us a few sentences, nothing animated, like they give us a couple of sketches or something like that, I mean, I'll be fine with that. Heck, you know what? If they really wanted to, like, I would be down for maybe like a 100% full-on concept art of Sparta. Sparta in his, I guess, ooh, but Sparta's a demon though, right? Does he even have like a human form? But I would love to see Sparta, right? Because for some reason I always imagine Sparta within like a human-ish form. But you can show Sparta within whatever form you guys feel best depicts him as a character for your storyline, Capcom. Like, whatever way depicts him best, do that. I will be satisfied with just that, like an image of Sparta. I would be okay with that, because I don't think we ever seen the image of Sparta ever before. But yeah. So I really thought that was a very cool thing that they kind of like threw in there. Again, like, this could just be me like being a little bit too pretentious in the sense of just taking the dialogue and kind of running with it somewhere that is not supposed to be ran with. But like, I do personally did like that little tidbit though. And if that truly was the takeaway, then I love it even more. So there's that. Another thing too, when it came to I'm forgetting shit. This is what happens when you do a video twice. But anyway, one more thing. There was a thing that was mentioned through streamers I watch, through other YouTubers, about the double battle in the special edition for Vergil. So people kind of like, I guess, downplayed it in the sense where it was just like, oh, they just wanted the game to end with a Dante versus Vergil battle because this is a Vergil storyline. Personally, I think it's a little bit more... It's more than that. I do feel like it's more than that. And this is 100% speculation. I don't know if this is concrete fact or not. But going back to the original game, when you had the battle between, like, obviously Nero and Vergil, I'm gonna make the claim that the reason why in the special edition you fight Dante twice is because in the original game when you fought Vergil, or in the original game when you fought Nero, my fault. Vergil wasn't serious at all. Like, Vergil was not fighting Nero seriously, and in my personal opinion, it makes a lot of sense. Like, if you really do go back and look at the context of just Nero truly beating Vergil, it did come off as just like, really? Because you have to remember, like, this is a whole new transformation to Nero. Yes, it did give him, like, a super power buff or whatever you want to call it like that. And yes, Nero is a very strong character, like, a ridiculously strong character. But, like, Vergil has experience. He has a well-trained Devil Trigger. He pretty much knows the ins and outs of his own abilities to and fro, to the point where he actually was able to evolve it, aka Doppelganger. But, for Nero to get this new transformation on top of, like, you know, not really knowing how to control it or use it in any, like, efficient way, Vergil losing to him, because obviously within the context of the story, like, in the cutscene right after you beat him, like, Vergil is hurt, like, he gets hurt, right? So it did kind of seem a little far-fetched to me, but I do like how they kind of, like, played it out here, where it's just like, nah, like, Nero wasn't the final fight, it was Dante. The implication could be that Vergil went easy on Nero, but again, that's just speculation on my part. Like, I can't confirm or deny it. But yeah, like, I think that's pretty much all the talking beats I talked about in the first video. The only other thing is, though, I did mention briefly in the first I guess the first take was just that the dynamic between Vergil and Dante is a little bit out there for me now, because, like, personally speaking, like, when it came to their dynamic, like, it did make a little bit more sense that like, I don't know, like I understand that, like, Dante and Vergil are at odds, right? Like, they're two characters that just, like, have different ideals, so that's why they butt heads constantly and stuff like that. But, like, it's one of those things where it's just like, even though that's the case, like, their relationship, I kind of wish they would kind of go more into depth on, like, really kind of, like, I guess giving us a full and better understanding of why truly they go head to head. Like, that definitely could be something that could be touched upon in the future Devil May Cry game, rather than giving us, like, Sparta and Eva within the game. Because it's one of those things where it's just like, their relationship and dynamic, I understand, like, V briefly touched upon it in Devil May Cry 5, the original game before the special edition came out, kind of saying, like, how these guys are, like, when it came to their ideals, their motive, and what they uphold as individuals is kind of just very different. But I don't know why it's different to the point where they constantly feel the need to clash all the time. Because I feel like their dynamic and relationship is a little bit more than just them just being rivals, you know? Like, there has to be more to this, and I kind of wish they would kind of dive deeper into that, because I feel like whenever we get a Devil May Cry game, it's kind of like it's more fighting than dialogue oriented between these two brothers, or the narrative itself doesn't give you any airtime to kind of, like, hear these characters have their own personal monologues or deep monologues. It's always one of these things where it's just like, it's always the job. It's always this, like, you know, very, I guess, over-exaggerated sense of cool that they kind of give off. And it's never really, like, these deep and personal moments. Like, I know we don't really follow Devil May Cry for these deep personal moments and stuff like that, because honestly, the franchise never put that for Dante or Vergil. Like, very heavily, I mean. Because obviously there was emotional moments when it came to, like, Trish, Dante, and Lady's conversation when it came about, like, losing someone close to you and stuff. So, like I said, like, they do have those emotional moments, but they never linger and stuff like that. But yeah. And also, like, oh yeah, I remember I mentioned that as well. So if you guys don't know, I do a podcast with Kim from Anime Legends, and we kind of just, you know, spew ideas and just, you know, go back and forth on certain thoughts and, you know, things that we, you know, very passionate about. And I found it funny that, like, in the podcast, like, a couple of days, or I think like a week or two before the actual special edition came out, I brought up the notion that, like, obviously when it came to the dynamic between, like, family and who's closer to who, like, it came off so funny that, like, Dante truly is closer to his mom, which is a given. You know, Dante is obviously going to be closer to his mom, because the way how they always depict, like, the final moments of Dante seeing his mother was in that burning dresser or whatever, and then she went off to go try to find Vergil and she died. But I thought the game did a very amazing job with that one little cutscene where it's just like how Vergil was saying like, hey, whenever dad talks to you, you start crying or whatever, and Dante was just like, nah, but whenever mom would raise her voice to you, you would just shrivel up or something like that, something along those lines, showing how like Vergil is clearly closer to his father and how Dante is obviously closer to his mother. Like it's just a given at this point, and how pretty much and it makes a lot of sense too. And honestly, I would kind of, if they do, again, if it is a thing, if they do end up making this like Sparta Eva kind of like game or like backstory or whatever like that, like I do think it would be kind of cool to see, because like if you really think about it, like it does also make sense to why these guys are the way they are, in a sense where if you really think about it, let's take Vergil for example and his closeness to his father, seeing like his father figure, the person that he just respects, the person that holds so much like physical power and just weight within the family, because obviously he's the man of the house, and seeing him get overtaken and just destroyed by Mundus and captured and stuff like that, it would make a lot of sense why Vergil's like, I guess like mindset is always going to be like, I need more power, where the guy that he looked up to and the guy that cared for him and nurtured him and stuff, he got put down by someone else, and it's a very demasculating thing. So that's why Vergil, I guess, his outlook on life became like, I just need to be stronger, I just need to be more powerful, I can't let this happen again, because like obviously my father lost, I don't want to lose like him and lose everything, same thing with Dante, like having that having his mom be the last thing that he sees and stuff like that, to her death potentially, kind of built this I guess you can say, because believe it or not, Dante is like he picks up strays. Like unfortunately they're women, but like it is what it is. But like Dante do pick up strays. So I guess that could be one of that, like that emotional beat that was left behind by his mother, where it was just like Dante has this mindset where he's not willing to just let things like I guess he's not willing to let things go. Like he's willing to put in the extra elbow grease to save whatever he can. And I guess you could say that was the overall theme for all the 4 characters he met: Lady, Trish, Lucia, and Nero, where his mother saved him but she wasn't able to save herself. And now Dante fully embodies that, where it's just like when it comes to trying to save someone, he'll try his best and hardest to save them, while at the same time making sure that like obviously they could stay alive, be good. But again, I think that was that's pretty cool. That would be really, really cool to touch on if they do make this Sparta Eva video game and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully we don't have to make this video again. Hopefully, definitely hopefully. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you guys so much. You guys take care, and peace.